Hi, this is Heidi with FoodieCrush.com, and today we are interviewing Kristen Doyle with DineAndDish.net. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Heidi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So,
Good.
so this week we're going to do a feature on our featured blogger is Kristen and her awesome blog Dine and Dish. And so a new feature that I wanted to introduce was a video chat. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Kristen today, and we just have a couple of questions for her. The first one is, we just want to get to know you a little bit more. So tell us a little bit about you and your experiences, your home life, where you live, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a mom. I have 4 children. I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And I've been married for 12 years. And we live in Kansas. We live in a suburb of Kansas City. And I'm trying to think what else you might want to know. I don't know. I work from home. I've worked from home for the past 10 years since my son was born, so I've been really lucky to be able to do that. And although it's challenging at times, I'm glad that I can be here and have a flexible schedule and things like that.
Yeah, well, and it's cool too. You've got a whole freelance business, and also you're a magazine editor, writer, photographer. So
Yeah.
tell me how you make that all work and what your roles are there.
So it's kind of crazy because my background is actually in recruiting and human resources. That's what my degree was in. And when I started my blog back in 2006, back in high school, I'd always loved writing and had a really bad experience with a teacher in my sophomore year of high school and decided that I wasn't, writing. I wasn't going to do it. Basically, she took an example of a paper I wrote and had me stand up in class and read it, and not letting me know that as I read it, she was going to demonstrate all the things that I had done wrong on that paper. And so, as a teenager,
as you were going,
she was fired that year. And hopefully she's not around children anymore. But anyway, so I had gotten away from writing, even though I had, a lot of professors and things like that later on in college say, you should really look into, something creative kind of thing. And so, it was a long time before I would even write cards to people. I mean, I know that's but writing anything more than, just happy birthday kind of thing. And so after I had Jacob, I was recruiting from home, working for, a really great company. And I was actually in management there from home, managing other recruiters. And I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I'd been recruiting for so long, and my parents had moved to South Texas from Kansas, and I wanted a way to keep in touch with them.
Right.
So I started my blog, and it was kind of a family thing at first, and then it moved into recipes and photography and all that. So everything that has happened to me in the past 6 years has stemmed from Dine and Dish as far as freelance writing. I've never sent out a copy to anybody or anything. I've had magazines come to me based on the work they've seen on my blog and hire me from that. So it's been really, really fabulous. Nothing, if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I would have been doing this, I would have laughed in your face probably. So,
well, it's amazing. It's a testament though to the voice that you have on your blog and how you can connect with your readers authentically and as yourself. What do you say? What do you think about that?
I appreciate that. I really, really do, because it's hard when you're writing about food to have that part of you come through. And in the past year, I've really tried to, in the past 6 years, I have written a lot about myself, and I don't hold much back.
Mm-hmm.
I've stood on the scale and taken my picture of my weight before, and shared it with everybody. But with food, it's hard to transition from, how am I going to make this recipe into a part of my life and share more than just the recipe with my readers. And something I struggle with every day. And there's some days where I just throw up a recipe and, that's all I have. And but I've really tried to transition more into more than just a food blog. I've tried to share more of my family, more of my photography, just because looking back, I care about the food I write about, but I care about my family, that kind of stuff more. And I don't want to look back and just be like, oh, wow, you had 6 years of great recipes. Woohoo,
Yeah.
So
well, and I think that's
fun.
the voice too of a blogger, and what
Right.
makes you connect with your readers is sharing your personal. So I think
Right.
you really do that well. And you talk about your photography, and your photography is awesome.
Oh, you're so
It's so
sweet.
much fun to look at and to see. And I must admit that I'm an Instagram stalker of yours.
I
I
love
love,
Instagram.
oh my gosh, I love your Instagrams. I love them. So,
You're
do you have any tips, or like what do you do? How do you take them? Because I know a lot of people love Instagram. Do you use specific apps, or do you take them from the camera first and then convert them? Give us some tips.
99% of my Instagram pictures are taken with my iPhone, and I am obsessed with Instagram. Like, if you took everything else away, even my blog probably, and said you can only have one thing, what would you keep? And it'd be Instagram, because I love that visual connection with people.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm connecting with more people on Instagram than I am on Twitter or Facebook or anywhere else,
Oh,
because you get to see, I think, a deeper, you get a deeper look at people's everyday lives, and I
yeah,
love that.
yeah.
I use my iPhone, and most of the time I just use the apps and Instagram, just because I want it to be instant.
Uh-huh.
And when you use the other apps, it's a little bit more hard to do
Uh-huh.
that. But when I don't use Instagram apps, I use Camera Plus
Mm-hmm.
and or Super Retro. And Super
Oh.
Retro has an app or a filter called Idyllic. Idyllic. And I love that. It kind of gives that like a little bit of a glow kind of text tone to the pictures. And then I use Camera Plus. There's one called Miniaturize,
Okay.
and it gives like a really interesting. It kind of distorts the picture just enough to make it really
And
interesting.
give a
So
little depth of field or something.
yeah, it's kind of a it's really cool. So
What's your favorite filter in Instagram? What's your
well, it used to
go-to?
be Early Bird. I use that one
I
all the
have to,
time.
yeah.
I love that one. But I've noticed recently I've been using, and now I can't remember the name of it. It's the one that's second in. So not the normal, but the second one in. It's just the first one I click on, and it's kind of it brightens the pictures up a little bit,
Hmm.
but also gives it a little bit of a vintage,
Yeah.
which I love anything vintage. So I'm
Oh yeah, are you so yeah, what's your style? Are you more of a vintage girl, shabby chic? I see that your little cabinet behind you.
yes, that is my style right there. I love that. I would love my whole house to be like that, like kind of not farmhouse really, but yeah, the kind of vintage. I love. I live in a newer house, so it's
Hmm.
hard for me. My house is only 5 years old, and it's we live in a beautiful neighborhood, but they're all like, every fourth house is the same.
Right, right,
And you get the builder's grade, beige slapped on your walls. And
right.
so it's been fun trying to incorporate my style into this. And we just redid my dining room, which is to make my office, which is where I'm at now. And it's
Oh
the
wow.
first room that I've gotten complete control over and have made it the style that I really like. So
So you don't have a dining room anymore. That is your office.
yes,
That's awesome.
we have an eat it. We have a. I'm looking over here, like as if you can see, but we have a nook off our kitchen, and we bought this old, not old, it was new, but farmhouse type
Uh-huh.
table,
Uh-huh.
and it seats up to 22 when the leaves are in.
Oh my.
And so, yeah, so we can fit everybody, we have huge families. And so when they come over, we have that. And this Christmas, we had like, a big long fold up table and a couple card tables as well. But for most of our needs, everybody can fit at that table, and we're good.
Oh,
So,
see. So how often do you get together with your family? I know that that's a really big thing for so many people. Been a goal of mine. Try to have more family time. How
yeah.
often do you do it, and what are some ideas that you have maybe to share of how to make it happen?
So it's kind of hard because our family, the closest family we have, is 6 hours away. So
Oh,
we don't get together with them as often as we'd like. My parents live now in South Texas, which is a 16-hour drive. So the kids and I are getting ready to pack up next week and
all
head down
right.
there to drive. And it's a 2-day drive with 4 kids. It's not so fun. But, um, you know, as someone whose family isn't close, what I would tell people is that make your neighbors your family. We have, when we can't get together with our family on Thanksgiving, we have, anybody and everybody who's displaced come over. And we've been really blessed with really good friends and good neighbors who are all kind of in our same situation where,
Right.
we grew up in Kansas, and then our families decided to to go someplace more fun and leave us. So that's, I would suggest to, look around and just open your home to, other people who are in your same situation.
So when you do entertain and you do have your friends over and stuff, are you more of a planner where you've got to plan it? Or are you kind of off the cuff, we're just going to get together and do it?
The reason I entertain is because I have that, I'm going to say it's a gift because I don't get stressed. Like we could have 20 people coming over for a dinner party and I will be in the grocery store at noon that day buying my groceries and planning my menu. And in fact, I ran into a friend at a grocery store the other day when we were having people over and she's like, why aren't you home cooking? And I'm like, I'm fine. If I had to stress about it for weeks, I would never have people over. So I'm a laid back entertainer, but it always seems to go fine. And all people care about is getting together. And, we've one time had people over and had our oven catch on fire because we had a cedar plank salmon in there. And, it's stories for people to talk about later.
So sit back and enjoy.